This video is brought to you by BetUS Sportsbook and Casino.
I really appreciate BetUS because with BetUS, you can receive 150% bonus on your first deposit, 125% on your next two deposits up to $2,000 with the promo code YouTube150. I wanted to really highlight something I discussed the other day that a lot of people might have missed, because in my opinion, as the season is drawn to an end, Mike McCarthy is starting to grow on me, because obviously it's a lot of people got problems with Mike McCarthy because of the season, play calling. Sometimes people believe he's not a good leader, different things like that. It has us where a lot of us are just all the way out on Mike. But I think Mike is coming back. I think especially with the CeeDee Lamb out, it's pretty certain he's coming back, because how do you evaluate him now? So I think the evaluation process is over. Bobby Belt laid out something that was very interesting to me. I was listening to The Fan yesterday, and Bobby Belt said in the morning show with Sean and RJ that currently with backup quarterbacks, Mike McCarthy is 12-5. Now imagine going a whole season. Just imagine going a whole season with backups, but yet you 12-5. If you put all the backups under his tenure together, that's impressive, y'all. That is. Now it's some people, they go still poo-poo on that. They go still. Anybody can do that. It's lightning in the bottle. Anybody can manage, with Cooper Rush and Andy Dalton and all these. Yeah, it's people still go think he's garbage. I promise you. But I'm going to attempt to be balanced. That's always going to be my goal, is to be balanced. I'm going to tell you the good. I'm going to tell you the bad. This video is about the good, because it's one thing as I'm preparing for likely Mike to return. My last statement was, if the one thing Big Mike has proven is the fact that he can manage crises and have decent Decembers. He had decent Decembers the first time Dad got hurt. He having a decent December now. He's going to end with a great December. And anybody that wants a coach is always going to focus on how does their team perform potentially going into the playoffs. So y'all just kind of pay attention, because this video is about the credit that he fully deserves on Mike Zimmer. So y'all sit back, because a lot of people don't know this. I'm going to break this down. So we clearly see that it was Mike McCarthy that made some of the decisions on the coaching staff of Zimmer, and it worked. But we also this is what you also gotta know, that it's also Mike McCarthy is the reason Zimmer is actually here. It's not front office. So everything that we loving about Zimmer, you also, to be honest, gotta give Mike McCarthy some credit for that. Let me prove what I just said, because I'm not gonna make statements like that without proving it.
Looking at former head coaches with something that, if you point to my history is a preference that I feel is very important. And
yeah. So yeah, and check this out.
I mean, there's only so many minutes, so many hours in a day. I know as a head coach, you're responsible for everything, but the reality is you can't be everywhere. And so I think the importance of the leadership role on defense, outside of scheme, calling games, and coaching players, there's so much more that goes on as far as the assistant coaches, and I think it's important. And obviously Mike's experience and success that he's had at every level is, once again, just makes this a great fit.
Yeah, it's Mike McCarthy is the reason Mike Zimmer is here, and he's going to specifically say why. I'm finna prove it. Listen, I don't say this stuff without proving it.
Mike was always the toughest to play against, and I think anytime.
Why? It's the why.
Mike was always the toughest to play against. And I think anytime the division games are the hardest, clearly, but they are always, extra tough against Mike, particularly, just the way.
So you can see his mind state on why he wanted Mike Zimmer.
He would lay out the defense, the change-up calls, and a lot of things in football. Everybody has a menu of things you look at, but he has a great fastball, great curveball, and a sweet change-ups.
But now we get into the meat. This is where I'm at my best, where I'm proving it, and showing it. So, but look at this. Look at the mind state of why. And I already kind of showed it. Let me see if that boy said he got look at what he said at the end.
Look at, but he has a great fastball, great curveball, and a sweet changeup. So that's the way I look at it.
Whoa. Boss, that doesn't prove Mike McCarthy was behind Mike Zimmer.
I think Zim's going to do a great job with these players. Hats off to Dan. He had a great run here, but I think Zim's going to bring an edge. It was something Mike wanted.
Who wanted? Who wanted? And then, wait, see. Let's just, in case you missed it.
I think Zim's going to do a great job with these players.
What date is that? What date?
Hats off to Dan. He had a great run here.
Yeah. Hats off to Dan. Good job. Had a great run. But there was a coach who said we needed an edge. You know who that coach that said we needed edge on the D? See, I know we want to give front office credit for Zimmer, but it wasn't. It was Mike McCarthy. Mike McCarthy basically pulled Zimmer out of retirement because of the skill sets that he saw in Zimmer when he used to go against him at Minnesota. He said it out his own mouth. I showed it to you. Now, am I lying? Am I making this up? Or am I showing you what really happened? Let's keep going.
But I think Zim's going to bring an edge. It was something Mike wanted. And
who wanted that? Who wanted the edge? Because, see, we know Stephen Jones and Jerry have no problem taking credit. We know that. They made it clear it was them. I mean, it was McCarthy. It was McCarthy that wanted Zimmer. And why? The edge. The edge that he brought, or the edge that we lacked under Dan Quinn. We didn't lack no edge, boss. We ain't lack no edge, boss. Boss, we was just fine. We was just fine. We ain't lack no edge. We wasn't loafing. This is Dan Quinn. See, I want to show you. I want to ask you, have you ever seen this type of play this year? I'm serious. Have you seen so many people walking around like this? Especially this play right here. Look. Have you seen this? This was under Quinn. Look at this mess. All this standing around. This. I remember screaming at the TV when I saw this. This bullshit. Under Quinn. You ain't never saw this under Zimmer. We was missing that edge. But boss, they play hard for each other because they're under contract. You didn't see that consistently under Dan Quinn. Not if you being honest. Now, if you a sinner, you go lie. If you a sinner, you go lie. If you somebody that's, yeah, it was all the same. Dan Quinn was just fine. No. We was missing the edge. We was missing that edge. Yes, we was. Don't pretend like the effort that you've been seeing the last 6 weeks, you were seeing under Dan Quinn. You was not. Now, you were seeing the takeaways. Yes, you was. You saw them. They liked Dan Quinn. Yes, they did. They did. But that effort was different. See, Yeah, because I was saying that before they hired Zimmer. I was saying we need Rod Marinelli effort. I was saying that before we hired Zimmer. So don't say I'm lying right now, because I know I'm telling the truth, and I got all kind of evidence that I was saying that. And y'all was saying that. Quinn did not have these dudes consistently running to the ball, and y'all know I'm telling the truth. We lacked edge. You cannot get that in the press box. You couldn't. But I'm first showing and proving who was behind Zimmer and why the if we go give Zimmer so much credit, shouldn't we give the guy credit who brought him in? And explain why he dusted him off and got him off the street?
Terms of bringing Zim in, he thought we needed, that edge there.
So Mike McCarthy thought we needed that edge.
And I think he's going to bring that to this defense and bring some guys along that I think will really help us out in terms of where we came up a little short, stopping the run, that type of deal, in our big games and the playoff game.
Yeah. So check this out.
Zimmer's been known as a tough disciplinary coach, in the past. Does he still have that edge? Have you seen that play out?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think just like anything, when you talk about, Mike Zimmer or guys that have coached in this league, through generations, there's definitely a consistency there in how he goes about it. But yeah, I think, we all recognize things are a little different today than they were 20 years ago. But no, he's definitely, that's who he is at the core.
And the players taking today, obviously it's a different change, different personality style from Dan.
Yeah, it was, and that was by design.
That was by design. Mike Zimmer different than Dan by design. And it was Mike McCarthy who designed it.
Different change, different personality style from Dan.
Yeah, it was, and that was by design. Dan.
Yeah. So I just showed you two sources where you can see Mike McCarthy wanted a different D coordinator, because if we really being honest, it wasn't Mike McCarthy's offense that lost us the Green Bay game. It also wasn't Mike McCarthy's offense that quit. It wasn't Mike McCarthy's offense that lost that edge. I think all of us could make the case right now that if Zim had that defense as healthy as it was in that period, and the way that they playing right now for the last 6 weeks, I'm pretty certain we wouldn't have had that lay down outcome. Yeah. And it was Mike McCarthy that said why, and Mike McCarthy is the one that brought him in. Yeah. And then let's ask this question. As we're evaluating, should that be in the gumbo of Mike McCarthy in terms of head coaching skills? If we being fair, should we put that in the gumbo as we trying to figure out the future? Should we consider that? Or are we going to sin and not give that no credit? Or we go just ignore that? Or we go be like, or we go minimize it? Like anybody could do that. Come on, boss, that's nothing. Yeah, this edge that we've been seeing, edge smedge, anybody can do that. Nah, I think it's just fair and appropriate to give Mike McCarthy credit for pulling Zimmer off the shelf. The whole NFL left him on the shelf to die. And it was a head coach that was like, hey, I remember this guy. He used to give me fits. Plus, he used to schematically, he's the boy. Shh, that boy was something. Yeah. hey, I know ain't nobody talking about him, but yeah, I know a lot of people might think he washed up, but I'm telling you, that man got a young mind. Yeah, this guy Zimmer, hey, Jerry, Stephen, this dude right here, nobody believes in him. Nope. But nah, you should have seen, boy, when I was going against him, whoo, pulled him off the shelf. See, ain't a lot of people ain't gonna tell you that though. See, right now what people are doing is we starting to isolate Zimmer from Mike McCarthy when they should also, to a degree, be a little bit leg and leg a little bit. If we been, yeah. See, look, this is why I do this. Look at this. Because I knew a lot of people didn't know this. He said, wow, I had no idea. I like Mike McCarthy even more now. Yeah. And listen, I'm proving it. I'm showing it to you. It's undeniable. You can't deny it. I'm showing it. It's the facts. It's not made up. See, now I'm gonna show you just a little bit more. See, let me show you this. Watch this again. I want to show you this one more time. Watch this, and then let's look at something else.
You know, Mike was always the toughest to play against. You know, and I think anytime the division games are the hardest, clearly, but they're always, extra tough against Mike.
Hold on real quick. Dre be having the best comments, bro. Dre, that boy say, Zimmer had Mike throwing clipboards. Boy, let me clap it up. That's it, brother. That's it. You hit it right on the head, bro. Yup. Zimmer had that boy throwing clipboards, and he remembered it. Bro, and he pulled him off the shelf. We ain't gonna give him no credit for that. My boy landlord in the building. Landlord OG in the building. Being landlord talked for about an hour or two today talking about, listen, man, we love this team, man. We be working behind the scenes, bro. We be dead serious about this. Shoot, dead serious. My boy landlord is in the building. What's up, my brother?
You know, Mike was always the toughest to play against. And I think anytime the division games are the hardest, clearly, but they're always, extra tough against Mike. Particularly, just the way he would lay out the defense. The change up calls and a lot of things in football. Everybody has a menu of things you look at, but he has a great fastball, great curveball, and a sweet changeup. So that's the way I look at it.
Woo-wee. Boss, they playing boss. Man, come on. They playing for each other, boss. Man, they was gonna play hard regardless. There ain't no way they was gonna loaf. This the NFL. They don't loaf, boss. They don't loaf, boss. And see, notice the schematic. See, he talks schematic. Now listen to Zimmer. Listen to Zimmer on the Doomsday podcast. Listen, y'all. Listen.
Try to get, in a lot of the games last year where they didn't play quite as good defensively.
So a lot of the games last year where they didn't play as good defensively. Listen.
The offensive schemed Parsons a lot. The back was checking, and coming over here or they got the two tight ends over there and they're both staying and all the protections turned that way. So our job is to, if teams are going to do that, number one, figure out a way how we can still use him where we want him, and number two, how can we use other people to affect those kind of protections.
Oh my. See, when you listen to this in hindsight, see, it's one thing to hear it as a vision. It's another thing to hear it in hindsight. But man, check this out. Listen at him.
Because everybody's going to be aware of him, just like I talked about in the A gap. Everybody knows where he is. There's number 11, right? So we're turning the protection this way, and now how are we going to defeat that protection? And typically, when we started with the double A gaps and when I was here with Parcells, part of it was, how can we attack protections?
How can we attack protections? Wait. Shout out to the Doomsday Podcast. Wait. See, now let's think about what's going on in hindsight. See, that was foresight. And that's when we was listening like, sounds good. Now let's think about how they using Micah and what has happened since Micah has returned. Since Micah has returned, the York Dallas Cowboys lead the entire league in sacks. Why? Because Zimmer schematically he has learned how to obliterate protections with Micah Parsons. See, under Dan Quinn, it was about Micah Parsons and what he could do individually. Under Zimmer, it's the power of Micah and what he means to the unit and how he opens up the unit. It's a totally different thing, and it's working. And guess who already knew he was like that?
You know, Mike was always the toughest to play against. You know, and I think anytime the division games are the hardest, clearly, but they're always.
Who had the vision? Don't play with me, y'all. That's if we being fair. Now, if you one of them sinners who don't like to give credit when it's in your face, well, you go just ignore. You gonna notice if you one of them, don't give any credit. Where this man is clearly showing that he clearly called. Before it was gonna happen, what's happening now? He said this man was giving me fits.
You know, Mike was always the toughest to play against. You know, and I think anytime the division games are the hardest, clearly, but they're always, you know, extra tough against Mike. You know, particularly, you know, just the way.
Who pulled him off the shelf? I'm asking a question.
And it's getting a lot of the other players to understand, hey, this is where the protection's going now. You guys have one-on-ones over here, or, you know, we have 3 one-on-ones with the back on this side. So how can we do that? And it's partly going to be their job to understand that, okay, we've got the slide going this way, we're man over here. What game are we going to run to affect those 2 players? Because it's 2-on-2 now.
Boss, he's old. I don't want no old coach. Do that sound old to you? See, when you can say beforehand, this is how we go give team fits, and you do it, shouldn't. Yep, exactly. Do your job so others can have success doing theirs. See, because it's a lot of people, they still judging. And they're judging Micah Parsons as an individual. That's where we messing up. See, remember Jerry said last week, the coaches I'm going with are the people that really showcase the people that I paid. See, Zimmer is showing I got a system that really know how to really maximize Micah Parsons. See, Dan Quinn limited ass system was about trying to get the most individual sacks. No, Zimmer is about, we go sometimes use Micah Parsons as a decoy because we're turning protections and we're trying to get looks that's gonna cause us to be able to take advantage and give all kind of pressures, sacks, and disruptions because of Micah Parsons. And Mike McCarthy knew this the entire time. My boy landlord said, that boy Zim cold. Yeah, bro, when you see this in hindsight, bro, it's different. It's one thing to look at it when he first said it, like, that sound real dope, what he plans to do, right? But then when you see him doing it, landlord, you'll be like, ooh, say that boy Zim. Zim saw this whole vision in August. What we seeing now, he already saw the vision, bro. And Mike knew he was like this. His defense got tangible things we can pack up and take to the playoffs, not just surviving off turnovers. And I can't wait to Boss Land. I don't know if we doing it this week because of Christmas, but ooh-wee. I already know we gonna smash Boss Land if we do it this week. But I'm just laying out the whole case. So listen, if you watching Boss Cowboy Sports, because I am gonna deal with the bad play calling. I am. I'm not go. This is not a lobby for Mike McCarthy. This show is not a lobby. This is not why he should stay. No, that's not what I'm doing. What I'm doing is I'm laying out all the information so that as we approaching the end of the season, we're informed. We're not one-dimensional, or we're not being led by people that just want us in our feelings, right? We are making cases based on knowledge, based on facts, based on the big picture, based on real solutions, not just emotional stuff. So, let me kind of start bringing this home, okay? Because see, now y'all can clearly see I've made the case. It's undeniable. It's all facts and documented, and I proved it. That it was Mike McCarthy behind Zimmer. Mike McCarthy clearly saw the value of Zimmer, and it was Mike McCarthy that dusted him off the shelf and pulled this coaching value into the Dallas Cowboys again. In my opinion, he should also share credit with Zimmer. Not take it, but share it. Because it was the vision of Mike McCarthy that said we wanted a defensive coordinator that was going to bring edge. So as you can see, it was Mike McCarthy that was behind Zimmer. He was very clear on why he wanted him. He wanted the edge. You seeing the edge. To me, it's not as bad as what we're saying. It's not as good, or he is not as good, but he's definitely not as bad as what we're saying. Well, a lot of people are saying. I just totally disagree. And mine is based on evidence, not philosophies, not emotions. It's the facts. It's what he said out his own mouth. It's what he did with backups. He manages crisis well. It's not a fair comparison to say he's Jason Garrett. It's not. And then I don't even think it's fair to say we hired him to go to the Super Bowl. It's like, why do we put God standards on all of our people? We do it to Dak. Dak got to get us to a Super Bowl. Mike McCarthy, no. It takes everybody. It takes him, front office, defensive coaches, players, quarterbacks, receivers, special teams. It takes everybody. It's not on one man. On whoever you want to blame. If you want to blame Mike, he need to get us there. He need to make sure everybody ready to play. What about them also being ready to play? So I just wanted to give y'all the facts, because we getting to the end of the season and some people are going to give up if Mike come back. They're going to take the whole season off. They're not going to really aid in ideas. They're going to not tune in. They're not going to call in. They're going to check all the way out just because they just dead bent on believing that it's impossible, even though he's won a Super Bowl before and been to a couple of NFC championships. But yet, to some, it's impossible. He just keep in mind, 3 years in a row, the Dallas Cowboys was 2 games away from the Super Bowl. 3 years in a row. So the sky's not falling to me. It shouldn't fall to you. So as we winding down the season, man, we got a lot that we're going to be covering. Obviously, we're drafting free agents and a lot of stuff. I really appreciate BetUS, because with BetUS, you can receive 150% bonus on your first deposit, 125% on your next 2 deposits up to $2,000 with the promo code YouTube150. But it's your boy Boss Cowboy, man. I'm always be honest with y'all, give you the full facts as we prepare for the season to wind down. Y'all take it easy. It's Boss Cowboy Sports. Peace.